Morning. This morning I'm going to make the easiest and the best applesauce ever. It's a baked applesauce, so the end result is a little chunky, not as smooth as store-bought, of course, but 100 times better, I can assure you that. In this pot, okay, I already have 3 Granny Smith apples, cored, peeled, and sliced, and 3 Red Delicious apples, same way. And now I'm going to add the 4th, but I just wanted to show you how I do that. So of course, I just peel, try to get as much of the peel as possible. You know, my grandmother used to do this when I was a little girl, and I just thought that that was just the neatest thing. She used to buy Macintosh apples all the time, so anytime I wanted an apple, for some reason she always took off the skin and always cored it that way. And I used to say, oh my goodness, Grandma, look at how long that peel is. So ever since that, I always try to peel my apples like that. Because I guess still, even as a middle-aged adult, I still think that the longer the apple peel gets without breaking, you know, that's just really neat. I don't know. Whatever. Sometimes, as you can see, it doesn't work. So you just take it off as best as you can. Okay. So now, and it doesn't all have to, notice how I have a little bit left? Not a problem. So I'm just going to cut those in half and take out the core, of course. Doesn't have to be a perfect job. Doesn't have to, you know, you're just going to slice them in this pot, how I'm doing, slicing. Okay. Other half of the red apple. The reason for using 2 kinds of apples is the fact that Granny Smith, of course, the world's best baking apple, but it's tart. You know what I mean? So the red apple balances out that tartness and helps to make this applesauce taste a little sweeter and more appley. Slicing. Okay. Great. So now same with the last green apple right there. So you have a total of 4 each in here. And believe it or not, you can go as much as 6 apples each if you're going to make a lot. You can also can this for all you canners out there. I love canning stuff. I'm still learning how to do that. I'm not as proficient at it as some of my friends who've been canning forever. But you can can this. And I have canned it. So, and I'm going to tell you how I did that. I don't have a pressure cooker or one of those canners with the racks and blah, 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 blah. Basically, I just have one really big kettle that I bought 100 years ago, almost literally. Alright, so I'm on the last apple right here, and the last piece. And I'll get back to that story in a minute. Alright, so it really looks like a lot of apples, but believe me, it cooks down. Okay, so also what I've done was I have zested 2 oranges and 1 lemon. This is what makes it fabulous. You put that zest in there, alright? And you also put the juice of those fruits that you just zested. So that is 1/2 of the orange right there. This applesauce has a very citrusy note, obviously. And it is really, really, really good. Like the best applesauce ever, I'm telling you. I can't keep it in the house. Larry does not like applesauce really, but he'll eat this one. And my younger boy loves applesauce and loves this. He also, my son puts this as a topping on vanilla bean ice cream. Never thought of that, but I could imagine that it tastes really good. All right, so that's one orange. Going on the next orange right here. Believe it or not, there's a seed in the navel orange. Don't believe that. Aren't they supposed to be seedless? Anyway, after we get all these ingredients in this pot, it bakes for an hour and a half. So during that time, you guys can't see this, but I'm wearing my gym clothes. I'm going to go for a run and work out. And by the time I'm done, this will be done. So anyway, this is the other half of that orange, second orange. Okay, great. It's okay if some pulp gets in there, but you don't want huge pieces of pulp, you know. And then the juice of that lemon right there, okay. The seeds from this lemon are going to fall in there too. It's no big deal because when you eat it, you'll catch it on your tongue. A lot of seeds collect in this little thing right here, but some of them fall in there. Nothing you can do. You can pick as many big seeds out, you know, as you can. I don't have a little strainer, otherwise I would do it over the strainer, so you can do it over the strainer if you have a strainer. But they just float right on top. Just get them. Just get them out. Not a problem. Okay, there you go. And the other half of the lemon. There's nothing like the smell of citrus, I swear to you. I just love it. Okay, a couple of seeds left, but we'll get those out really quick. Alright, they're out. Perfect. Alright, rinse your hands dry them off too, because here is how I do this. I'm also adding 1/8 of a cup of unrefined organic sugar. You can add any kind of sugar that you want. It could be the white kind, it could be brown sugar, it could be whatever you want, and you can play around with the sweetness as well. I've made this several times, and I happen to prefer less sugar because I think that the red apples make it sweet enough. I also add 1 whole entire vanilla bean. You can't really taste it a whole lot, but you just know it's there. It adds a little creaminess to it. Okay, cinnamon. I measure in the palm of my hand. So if you can fill up the palm, like this little part of the palm of your hand, that'll be ample cinnamon. Just like that. Alright, pour that in there. Half of that for the nutmeg. Okay, nutmeg. Should look like that. Perfect. And if you want to, which I forgot to get, out of the cabinet right here, you can add a little bit of ginger. Here we go. Okay. Ginger. And about that much in between the cinnamon measurement and your nutmeg measurement. Okay. Get a spoon. Spoons. Mix that up right there. Anyway, back to the canning thing. Okay, mix that up as best you can, but it doesn't really matter in the end because those apples are going to soften a lot and everything's going to get very moist and cooked down and everything like that. And then you just take a whisk when you're all done and whisk the mixture just like this, and you have the world's perfect and most delicious applesauce ever. Anyway, canning it after it's really hot in this pot. So when it's hot, you set up your mason jars, all right? You pour that in the mason jars, leaving a 1/4 inch from the top, of course. Make sure your rims are very clean before you put your seals and your lids on. And then have that kettle, that great big kettle, or your canner, or your pressure cooker, however it is that you can, going with the very hot water, boiling of course. Carefully put your cans in, process for 15-20 minutes, and take them out. Make sure you hear the pops of those little lids, and you have canned applesauce. It's that easy. So anyway, I'm putting this in a preheated 350-degree oven. I'm going to set the timer for 1.5 hours. And I'm going for a jog, and I'll see you back here in 1.5 hours. Wow, you should smell the house while making this applesauce. It's really fabulous. You can really smell the citrus throughout the house. It's just wonderful. Anyway, we just have a couple more seconds left, and then it's going to come out, and we're going to whisk it, and then we're going to taste it. Of course, it's going to be scalding hot, but this is the kind of applesauce, warm or cold, it's really great. So, I'm just waiting right here. A few more seconds, and it's going to come out, and I will show you what I do to it and then what it looks like. It's just really wonderful. Of course, remember that vanilla pod that we put in. We're going to whisk that around and then throw out the pod, of course, because nobody needs to eat that. This is the sort of thing that you really feel like making on a cold winter's day. But here we are in the middle of spring. However, so I'm just whisking, gently whisking, and there's that pod in there, but I'm going to whisk it. I'm whisking it with the pod because that vanilla pod releases those little seeds in here and gets vanilla flavor, creamy flavor really in this particular case, all around in there. Anyway, it's been so warm here lately that of course you didn't feel like turning the oven on, but today it's really cooled down quite a bit and the sun isn't even out. It's kind of cloudy, so I figured why not make this. Alright, so I'm just whisking very good because although I do like the chunkiness of this particular applesauce recipe, I don't want it to be like sliced apples in my mouth. I want it to be like applesauce. So just, you know, whisk it as much as you think that you need to whisk it. Okay? Alright. Oh, it smells so good. Really. Okay, and then that pod that I was telling you about, right here, we're going to toss that out, and I will show you what this looks like. Is that not fabulous? Is that just not fabulous? And it smells so good, and the whole house smells really, really wonderful. You can really taste the citrus notes in here, but it's not overpowering. And it's sweet like I told you because of those red apples. I suppose you can use any other type of apple that you want. Always make sure that you use the Granny Smith apples though, and then complement that with Red Delicious, Golden Delicious, Fuji, whatever you want. I'm sure that it's all really good. Of course, I love apples. This is really good. All right. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my videos. And I thank you in advance for that, and enjoy.